Hi, John. I'm Shane from American Income Life Insurance Company. I talked to you yesterday about your benefits through your sister Karen and her union. By the way, is Mary here? I have to go over these benefits apply to her as well. Do you mind if we sit at the table? Because I have to go over the benefits with the both of you. John, you can sit there. Mary, you can sit here. And I'll sit over here. Now, did you talk with Karen to find out what she's done for you and your family and why I'm here today? No? Well, I'll back up and make sure that everybody knows what's going on. As you know, Karen is a member of the UFCW 99. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you are with unions like firefighters, police, Teamsters, and teachers, but I'm sure you've heard that they have some of the best benefits out there. Am I right? Well, AIL is the unionized company that provides the benefits for all of those other unions and associations. Now, Karen's a member of good standing with UFCW 99, and she's been able to extend some of those American income benefits to her family members and those close to her. Now, do you know the difference between your temporary benefits and your permanent benefits? Well, we all have great benefits through work, but when we leave, quit, or retire from our jobs, we lose all or a portion of those benefits in 31 days. But Karen's done an amazing thing for you guys. Now, if you qualify today, you will now have permanent benefits that follow you, and no one can ever take those away from you. So make sure you thank her. Now, John, what do you do for a living? And Mary, what do you do for a living? How long have you been there? Now, as it says in the letter, my job is to bring by your benefits and explain your options. And when I'm done, they're going to ask you to fill out this report card, and we'll send it back to the union so that they know that I've been here and I've done my job. Is that fair? As it says in the letter, they have us out here for three basic reasons: to inform you of the food banks, to explain the benefits package that Karen qualified you for, and to see if you qualify for anything permanent they have set up for their members and their families. So, have you ever been unemployed or laid off? Of course. Well, the reason I ask is that AIL collects food for members in a time of need. The way they keep this food bank running is when we're in a member's home, they ask them if they could donate a couple of cans of food or some dry goods. And if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and remind me before I leave, and I'll take those with me. John and Mary, this is your $2,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy from American Income. Now, this covers you for any kind of accidental death. It is non-participating and non-contributory, so that means you don't have to pay for it or qualify for it, just because Karen's in the union and she extended this to you and it's been taken care of. How good is that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to fill out this left-hand side. Make sure you fill in the beneficiary and sign the bottom. I'll take this back to the office and you'll get the policy in 4 to 6 weeks. Does that make sense? John and Mary, this is your health discount program. Now, this is not health insurance, but it comes to you at no cost, and it will give you discounts on your eye care, hearing, prescription drugs, and chiropractic care. Now, there's a 1-800 number on the inside for any customer service concerns, and the findbestbenefits.com at the bottom will list any providers in your area. Now, we're going to go ahead and fill out this middle section here. I'll take it back to the office and mail it in. You'll get your card and start receiving your benefits and your discounts. Now, does that make sense? John and Mary, are you familiar with the Amber Alert system? Of course. Every day, our police in our communities are looking for over 2,300 missing children. And this is a vital tool to help you help the police activate an Amber Alert. So you'll take this and you fill it out, this front part in ink, but on the inside you're going to fill out much of this part in pencil because it changes all the time, their height and weight. You're going to put a recent photo here, update that on special occasions like school pictures and Christmas. On the inside here, there's a place for their identifying scars and marks and a DNA hair sample. Make sure you get their fingerprints. On the back, there's a little bit of information for the parents. You'll take this and put it in a safe place here in the home. Can you see how important these are for all the children? Now, John and Mary, you do have a will set up, right? Okay. Well, this is the Family Information Guide. Now, it's not a will, but it is an important document to fill out, and it goes hand in hand with the will. You'll want to keep this safe here in the home when you're going to when you finish filling it out. I have one here for each of you. From the top, your vital statistics is basically who you are, your name, your address, your social security number, things like that. Were either of you a veteran? No? Okay. Well, persons to be notified is probably the most important part. Every year, millions of dollars of insurance goes missing goes unclaimed because of three simple reasons. Either the family doesn't know the insured has a policy, they don't know how to make the claim on the policy, or the insurance company can't find the beneficiary. So what they're saying is that you should probably put in at least 5 people here local that can come to your family's aid in that time of need. You put the most important people in the front and turn over on the back and put a few more people on the back that are going to take care of some of those more minor things, like the dog, who's going to pick up the mail, take care of your house while you're in the hospital, or taking care of this. Now, does that make sense? Okay. So the estate information goes here. This is where you're going to put your life insurance. Now, you do have life insurance outside of work, right? Well, if you have life insurance with work, you're going to have to put that in pencil because it is temporary. Your financial institution goes down here. Is it checking or savings? Put in the bank and where it's at. Somebody in your family is going to have to go out and close those accounts. Now, the funeral service request is very important. Have either of you had to plan a funeral? Have you thought about cremation or a regular burial? Either way, it's very expensive. Now, we do have a program that can take care of all your final expenses, but you do have to qualify for that. Can you see how important this is for all of your family? Can you see how important this is for your family? Of course. Now, John and Mary, because Karen extended it to you, now the AIL is automatically extending this same package to everyone that's going to help you in a time of need. Now, what they're going to get is their own family information guide, their own child safe ID kits that they need for as many kids as they need them for, their own health service discount card so that they can get discounts for their prescriptions and chiropractic care, and they're going to get their own $2,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy. Excuse me. Now, the best thing about this program is that as soon as you tell me who you want to cover, they're covered. I put them in the program, we send them a text, and they're covered. That means that even if I don't get to sit down with them and never get a signature on anything, they are still have a $2,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy available for them if they need it. Isn't that magic? So let's go ahead and start with your brothers and sisters, your cousins, your mom and dad, and anyone you want to choose. Make sure that we get any of your kids' friends for child safe ID kits. Now, John and Mary, I'm going to send you a text, and you're going to forward that on to all the people that you decided to cover, so that they know that I'm coming, and they know that they don't think I'm a stranger. Okay? Okay. Now, since you didn't find out exactly what Karen's done for you, I'll back up a little bit. Now, as it says in the letter, they set up a program for the UFCW 99. In fact, this is the Labor Advisory Board. This is a group of 54 international and association leaders, and their job is very important because what they do is they examine and give advice and recommendations on what insurance people need and what gaps are in their program. Now, they've asked us to read this letter to the members, and since Karen sponsored you in, I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. Now it says, Dear member, the insurance programs being offered to you today are made available on a voluntary basis through the cooperation of the USCW 99 and American Income Life Insurance Company, a 100% union label company with a long-standing history of serving unions and their members. AIL supplemental benefits are not in competition with any group benefits through your workplace or employer and can complement any insurance policies you may have already had. If you choose to take advantage of any insurance programs offered through AIL, your benefit program is permanent and portable throughout your lifetime. AIL supplemental insurance benefits include automatic built-in features to help members during hard times, such as a strike and layoff waiver premium benefit. If you qualify, your coverage lasts a lifetime and is under your independent control. Once the program has been explained to you, we're sure that you will agree with the many participating members that it's one of the most valuable programs you'll ever see. American Income Life provides insurance services to over 2 million policyholders throughout the United States, Canada, and New Zealand, and has over $40 billion in life insurance in force. There are several benefits available. Please take a few minutes to listen to the AIL representative who is visiting you, and if they can help you with the need in this area, with your need in this area, please take advantage today. We would like your feedback, so please take a minute to complete the report form, and this information helps us serve you more effectively. In solidarity, James McLaughlin, President of the USCW 99. So you see why they were chosen. This is why they were chosen to provide benefits for the USCW 99 and other unions and associations, because they realize typically when you leave, quit, or retire from your jobs, you lose those benefits in 31 days. In fact, AIL not only works with the USCW 99 and police and firefighters, but they work with over 40,000 unions and associations. They're A+ rated and have over 5 million members enrolled. So they must be doing something right. Now, just because your sister Karen extended these benefits to you doesn't mean that you're automatically allowed to enroll. You do have to qualify. So what they're going to have me do is ask you a few questions just to make sure. So, have you ever had any problems with alcohol or drugs, any DUIs or any alcohol treatment? Have either of you had any health problems? Are you currently taking any kind of medication? Do you use tobacco in any form? And have you ever been diagnosed with cancer? Okay, so based on your responses, I'm not sure that you can qualify yet, but I think you have a pretty good chance, so I'm going to go ahead and explain the benefits to you. So the needs analysis here determines your family's needs based on three major areas, your family situation, how many people are in it, how much insurance you already have, and your income. So I'm going to ask you a few questions so we can fill this out. Now, John and Mary, what are your birthdays? What insurance do you have outside of work? Okay, you've got $100,000 of term life through Primerica and no insurance at work. Am I correct? Okay. So, are you checking or savings? Checking, of course. So, did Karen fill you in on the Our Power program? No? Okay. Well, the Our Power philosophy is that the members suggest that the members should set aside the first 2 hours of their income each week to protect themselves and provide for their family's future. Now, 2 hours a week of your weekly wage is roughly 1/20th of your income, right? And that's not going to change anybody's lifestyle, is it? Of course not. Any financial planner is going to tell you to spend between 10 and 15% of your annual income. And this is based on 2 hours, which is only 5%. So all the members can afford it. Now, John, what do you make an hour? And Mary, what do you make an hour? 19 and 12. Very good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what setting aside what they'll allow you to do is set between $20 and $100 a week to help build your program. Now, my obligation is to show you what your $31 a week, what kind of program that will build for you and your family. what kind of program this will build for you and your family. And when I'm done, they're going to want your opinion on this report card. So try to pay attention. Try to pay attention. Okay, so they're concerned with protecting three major areas: your accidental injuries, your final expenses, and your paycheck. Now, first, your accidental injuries. Have you considered, Mary, John, what you're going to do in the case of an accident? John, if you get in an accident, you go to the hospital. We're not concerned. The Labor Advisory Board and AIL is not concerned about whether your medical bills are going to be taken care of, because you have medical insurance for that. If it happens on the job, you've got some sort of workman's comp, and if you're lucky, you've got some sort of disability, long-term or short-term. Am I right? So now what they're worried about is your lost wages and the other expenses that just kind of pop up when you go to the hospital. So John, if you go to the hospital, who's paying you to be there? Nobody, right? Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to start sending you $150 a day if you ever have to go to the hospital. That's for you, Mary, or any of the kids. And that's if you scrape your knee, bump your head, got stitches on or off the job, and that money comes to you here at the house. Now, the only exception to that is if you go to the hospital and you have to spend the night, they're going to send you $300 a day for every day you're in the hospital for up to 1 year. That's over $2,000 a week. Now, Mary, when that money starts coming in, is that really going to help your family? It certainly is, right? Now, John, if something happens to you and you wind up in the intensive care unit, they're going to start sending your family $600 a day for up to 14 days. Now, Mary, the same thing for you. If that happens, it's $4,200 a week. Now, the reason it's $4,200 a week, we know that if you're in the intensive care unit, it's life or death, and money should be your last concern. Now, does that make sense? Okay. Now, the second area that they're concerned about are your final expenses. Now, Mary, John, have either of you had to plan a funeral? No? Have you given any thought to what you're going to do and how you're going to pay for your own funeral? Okay, well, how are you going to pay for your own funeral? So that's another thing they've given a lot of thought. Now, funeral directors these days, they want to know where all of the bulk of their money is coming up front on the spot before they start doing anything. Or they want to know where the money's come from. Did you know that? Did you know that? Most people don't. So what they've done is they've set up the freedom of choice. Now, John, when something happens to John, John and Mary, if you qualify today, you'll now have the freedom of choice, and you get a certificate that looks just like this. Now, they call it the freedom of choice because it works at any funeral home across America. John, when something happens to you, Mary's going to take this certificate and go into any funeral home she chooses. And when the funeral director looks at her and says, Mary, I'm very sorry for your loss, but your husband's funeral is going to be $10,000. How would you like to take care of that today? Well, she doesn't have to worry about that. She's going to say, my husband has the freedom of choice. And everything's taken care of from that point on. John and Mary, they've set aside $15,000 each to take care of your funeral and final expenses. Any money that's not used for your funeral goes directly to the beneficiary. Now, John and Mary, isn't that nice to have something like that taken care of for your family? Of course it is. Now, each of the children is covered for $10,000 for their final expenses, and they can convert that into a $50,000 benefit at the age 21 with no medical questions, regardless of health or habits. Pretty nice, right? So, the exception to that is when you die before 65, most likely it's going to be in some kind of accident, right? So, John and Mary, if you die before the age of 65 in some type of accident, not only are they going to take care of your freedom, immediately take care of your freedom of choice, but they're going to start sending your family, they're going to send your family $110,000 to take in that time of need. Now, John and Mary, if you do die in an accident, what kind of accident would most likely be? It's probably going to be an automobile accident. In that case, they're going to send your family $140,000 extra above the freedom of choice and take care of your funeral expenses immediately. Now, if that happens on a common carrier, bus, train, plane, Uber, they're going to send your family $230,000 above the freedom of choice. Now, does that make sense? Each of the children is covered for $6,000, $12,000, and $30,000 for those same types of accidental deaths. That's something to take care of. Now, John and Mary, the last thing they're concerned about is your monthly income. John, driving home from work next week, you die in a car accident or stroke or heart attack or something like that, does your paycheck keep coming? Of course not. It stops just as soon as you did. And Mary, the only difference between now and next week is the paycheck is gone. The bills keep coming in, the food still has to go on the table, the kids still have to go to school. And the only thing different is John's paycheck is gone. So they set up your monthly income protection or your readjustment income. John, when something happens to you, they're going to start sending your wife $3,251 the very next month and every month for up to 3 years. Now isn't that something that's going to take care of your family? Of course it is, right? Now, Mary, when that money comes in, you can invest that in your future. Put it for your kids' education or your own retirement. And John, if something happens, Mary, when something happens to you, your husband John is going to start getting $2,100 a month for 3 years. How does that sound? Now, this does build cash. This program does build cash for an emergency fund. If after 3 years you have some sort of financial emergency, a financial situation where you can't pay for this, we'll draw cash from this emergency fund so that your insurance benefits don't get lost. Now, if you never have to use that emergency fund or take out a loan against that, when you get up to your retirement age of 65, you have what they call paid-up benefits. You can take that cash out of the program, roll it back into the program, and completely pay off your insurance benefits so that you can retire, have full insurance benefits, and never have to pay for them again. How's that? Now, John and Mary, have you considered what you're going to do when you get diagnosed with a terminal illness? Okay, well, they've given it a lot of thought, and what they do realize is you're going to need a lot of cash. John, Mary, if either of you get diagnosed with a terminal illness, you have less than 12 months to live, they're going to send you half of your paycheck protection and half of your freedom of choice. That way you can take that money and look for your own cures or take a bucket list cruise, whatever you want. It's your money. Now, you do have a strike and layoff waiver. If your union goes on strike, this will cover your insurance benefits for up to 1 year. John, if you can't go to work just for 1 day because of a strike, the strike waiver takes care of your insurance for the whole month. And if in the case of layoffs, if you've been working for 12 months, this layoff waiver will take care of your insurance benefits for 3 months. That's 3 months you don't have to pay, and you don't have to pay it back. It's just free. Now, these benefits are guaranteed and non-cancelable. So that means that if you qualify today, you can never lose these benefits, no matter how sick you get, no matter if you retire or change your jobs. You control them. They're under your control. You control them. So, John and Mary, I've shown you what setting aside 2 hours can do for you and your family. So let's review just to make sure that we all understand. The hospital accidental benefits are here for your family. The Freedom of Choice Certificate covers you, Mary, and the kids for any cause of death, and it's here when you need to use it. Your paycheck protections and all the protections on the side here make sure that no matter what happens moving forward, you never have to lose your benefits after today, even if you get very sick, retire, or move. Now, John, like it says in the letter, my job is to show you what you qualify for and give you an opportunity to enroll. And the best part of this program is they've set it up like a payroll deduction so that it comes out of, but it only comes out once a month from your own checking account so that you have control, not your employers or the unions. Pretty nice, right? John and Mary, let's face it, we're all going to die. We don't have a choice about that. Either we deal with it now, right here when it's easy, or someone in your family has to deal with it later when it's hard. So I will have to ask you some medical questions to see if you can even qualify. But I think the most important question I'm going to have to ask you today is, when something happens to you, that catastrophic car wreck, and both of you die, there's going to be $310,000 and more than $5,300 a month coming to your family. Who do you want that money to go to? Now, John and Mary, it doesn't really make a difference to them which program you try to qualify for. Most members try to qualify for their 2 hours a month, which is what I showed you. Some members see this and realize they can do more for their families and want to do more and try to double their benefits. And some members realize that they need a more basic program just to get started with plans to upgrade in the future. And like I said, they don't really care which program you want to go for, so which one do you want to go for? Now, while you're trying to decide which option makes the most sense for you, I'll go ahead and ask you some of the medical questions just to see that you can qualify.